Brandon Johnson's newly appointed school board is set to hold its first meeting on Thursday. It comes after the previous board resigned en masse after facing pressure from the mayor to force out schools chief Pedro Martinez. Becky Vivi is the bureau chief for Chalk Beat Chicago, and she joins us now to take us behind the scenes of the drama. Becky, Mayor Johnson is correct that he has the power to appoint the school board for now, but what message have his moves in the last few weeks sent?
Well, I think a lot of people are a little confused because the former board, which resigned under pressure, were all of his picks that he put in office last June when he assumed the mayor's office. And so it's a little bit, confusing, I think, for people thinking, well, why replace them now when we are on the verge of these historic school board elections? And he's going to have to make appointments after those elections are done as well. He will have 11 appointments to make at that time. And he does have to take into consideration who wins those elections once he makes those appointments. So
any indications what's going to happen in this first meeting on Thursday? Because we just had the seventh newly appointed member named.
So earlier this month, yes, he appointed 6 new people. There are 7 seats. So today, when they put the agenda out, there was another 7th name on there. That name is Rafael Yanez, and he is an investigator with the Chicago Police Department and once ran for alderman in 2019. He had the backing of the CTU at that time, and he will be the 7th member of this new board, which will swear themselves in on Thursday. For a meeting that will essentially be about they'll review the agenda for their regular monthly meeting, which has now been rescheduled to November 1st. Would have been our October meeting, but it's going to be on November.
But they're also going to go into executive session where they can talk personnel issues. Does that mean the school's chief, Pedro Martinez, has hours left?
That is a great question, and I don't have a magic 8 ball, nor do I have any detail from the agenda to know whether or not that is going to be what they discuss in that closed session. They do have a closed personnel session frequently in board meetings, and so it could or it could not happen. I mean, it could be they could discuss other personnel matters or other personnel issues.
Reading the tea leaves here. So in January, half the board spots are going to be elected positions. The mayor appoints the other half, but a lot of the people running, understandably, some of them have support of the Chicago Teachers Union. Some do not. So, I mean, are we in a kind of a narrow window here when it comes to the teachers union contract talks, taking out what's been described as a high interest loan that the mayor supports? Are we in kind of this narrow window here where we might see a lot of action taken on some of the mayor's and the teachers union pet projects?
Possibly, but I would also remind folks that we will enter, even with these elections, we will enter a hybrid period technically. So the mayor will have 11 appointments and there will be 10 elected members. So he will have 2 more years where he virtually still does hold a majority through those appointees. So I don't know that there will be a mad dash to make a ton of changes in this November cycle and December meeting.
Becky, we only have 30 seconds left. To be fair, Mayor Daley, Rahm Emanuel, they all controlled the school board as well. What we didn't see before was that their handpicked supporters quitting en masse to protest the way we did under Brandon Johnson. But, Brandon Johnson is a former teachers union activist. The teachers union is in contract talks. And now, presumably, Brandon Johnson has picked people for the board that even more closely mirror his positions. Is there any reason to think that the teachers union isn't going to get everything that it wants in these contract talks?
Oh, gosh, that's a great question. And that's not one I don't think I can answer in 30 seconds. But I will say that it was really shocking when the handpicked board resigned earlier this month. And I think that is why there is a lot of uncertainty and a lot of questions is this, and observers have said this is politically not maybe a great look to have all of this happening amid the contract talks with your former employer and your closest allies. But, he's been very firm and clear that he's trying to do big changes and transform the school district, and he needs people who are going to help him do that. And that's what these new 7 appointees, we will see when they take their seats on Wednesday, what the tone of their governing is.
Becky Vivi, who watches this every day for Chalk Beat Chicago. Thanks for joining us, and sorry for asking you to explain the most complex answer in 30 seconds or less. That's the
All right.
that's the most unfair TV reporter thing to do. Appreciate you, Becky. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.